But the reality is it's behind where several other countries of a similar ilk are. Any businesses in Bangladesh that trade internationally into other parts of Asia or to Europe going to face greater competitive challenges in the next few years.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of the ESG Dialogues. So today we have with us a former banker turned global sustainability leader with decades of experience in advising boards and businesses across Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. Ms. Joann Flinn, Chairperson of the ESG Institute. She is flying to Dhaka to be a part of Bangladesh's most pivotal ESG event of the year, in this July 25th, 26th, and 27th, the ESG Bootcamp. From the boardrooms of multinational banks to the climate innovation space in Southeast Asia, Ms. Joann has helped organizations transform impact, compliance, and growth. Her work spans green finance, integrated governance, and environment, social, and governance or ESG strategy across public and private sectors. Today, in this ESG Bootcamp special episode of the ESG Dialogues, we sit down with Ms. Joann Flinn to talk about why ESG matters more than ever, especially for Bangladesh. Ms. Joann, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's an absolute joy to be here with you.
We're honored to have you with us as well. Okay, so the first thing I'd just like to ask you about as we start with the dialogue is you've worked with like governments, investors, and companies, right, in over say around 30 countries. So from your perspective, where does Bangladesh stand in the global ESG journey? And what are the opportunities that we have?
How to say this fairly, because this is not about putting a country that has significant number of challenges down. But the reality is it's behind where several other countries of a similar ilk are. And so what that means for Bangladesh is it's running in a race in terms of international work. I mean, if it wants to, as any country, if it wants to go and close its borders and say we don't care about anybody else, we knock our own socks off, that's great. But it's always had a very great awareness that it's part of a bigger world. And as part of the bigger world, there's some other countries in the ASEAN region that are moving faster.
Right.
And what that means, particularly for any businesses in Bangladesh that trade internationally into other parts of Asia or to Europe, going to face greater competitive challenges in the next few years. But internally within the country, what it does mean is there's probably going to be increased pressures locally as well. Just, little pieces adding on. And the message I'd like to leave at this stage of the dialogue is, yes, it's not a great position to be in, but it is a position that one can address and move past.
Or if Bangladesh lives up to the global ESG potential that it can.
Where Bangladesh sits compared to sort of some relatively nearby countries. In certain indicators, Bangladesh is just a smidgen ahead. In others, it's a smidgen behind. Now, what that means from an opportunity perspective is that for organizations and leaders in Bangladesh, there are some places where the opportunity is to say very deliberately, how we're a little bit ahead. How do we make sure we stay a bit ahead? We keep that momentum moving forward. So interestingly, one of those ones is actually in the social space. A second element is where are we slightly behind? So where might we be losing out when we're being compared to other countries, say for investment, say for long-term business contracts, the kind of things that create, more stable things.
Right.
Where be a smidgen behind. And therefore, to me, one of the things that I think will be coming out of the boot camp.
Thank you for pointing that out. I mean, Bangladesh does have a lot of things that we can do a lot better in the ESG space. But the opportunities, like you said, they are out there. And it's only basically a matter of time and mindset that I think we can kind of grab onto those opportunities, hopefully. One of the crucial things that Bangladesh has is we do have a lot of top-down leadership, right? So you have mentored, I think countless C-suites and boards on how to embed ESG and sustainability effectively into their organization. Since we're on the topic of Bangladesh needing to kind of integrate the ESG learning from different global perspectives. So what do you think? What sort of shift do you think is needed in the corporate leadership today in Bangladesh so that they can move from philanthropy or CSR or expense to true business ESG integration?
With two parts in that one, Shadman, is firstly is the realization that ESG and CSR are fundamentally different animals.
Absolutely.
And the tendency to equate the two disrespects what both of them are. ESG comes from a very strong foundation of what are the lead indicators of high performance over time. Which is, and I'm aware that my voice shifts into this is a commercial thing, but also a values-based thing. CSR is purely values-based, and it's usually on the basis of what are the small things we can do. So our CSR contributions, we've gone and cleaned up a beach. That's great. We might not be paying any attention to the way we produce our product and the way we package is contributing to that said pollution. So when CSR cleaned up the beach, ESG is going, well, how much of the pollution are you part of creating? The impact on the outside. And therefore, also, how can we do what we do differently so that we create less damage and create more value?
I think there is a struggle to kind of adapt to a new sort of mindset every time something new like ESG or sustainability comes into the corporate buzzword alphabet soup, if I will, right?
And it's the thing, what we found in the work over the years is there will be about a third in a leadership team,
right?
About a third who can't pick it up and get it. They go, actually, you know what? This fits with the way my mind thinks. There's a framework that makes more sense. Got it. Let's get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be about a third who go, I need to understand a bit more like, and there's more mental work required.
Mm-hmm.
Want to talk neurobiology, there's an awful lot more myelination of the old neurons that are necessary in there.
Mm. Right.
About a third that will get there. And then there's about a third who just intrinsically struggle because it doesn't fit with the way they see the universe as operated.
Mm.
And, as a board, as a leadership team, it's important to appreciate this because there's strengths in each of those thirds.
Thank you so much for pointing that out. I think if that meaning kind of gets embedded into the corporate culture and decisions, I think will have already gone a long way. So on that topic, what excites you the most about being here, and because you're coming to the boot camp as one of the lead facilitator of and you'll be in and out of the 6 different industries that we have and the 6 different sessions that we have, and you'll be taking a very, very valuable session, right? So you'll be teaching them formally on how to make sense of the intangible results of ESG, how to generate value. So what excites you the most about being here? And what kind of ESG potential or leadership do you see emerging from Bangladesh in the next, say, 4 to 5 years?
Okay, and so firstly, I'm just so excited to be able to come and to meet everyone. One of the reasons why I said yes when you invited me was, and I'll share this here and now so that others who are coming, are aware, is that I've lived and grown up in ASEAN pretty much my entire life. I got sent back to Australia for university, but I've lived in Southeast Asia since I was 12. So, the Western developed world is not where my brain comes from. It's this world that to me is, where the heart and soul of the world is, and where there are more people and we have a greater capacity as human beings to create a better world, not just for ourselves, but for our families and those around us and those that come after us. I remember some of my dad's colleagues from Bangladesh, and I'm hoping that, in some of my trips there, I can catch up with them, and the heart and the passion and care that they had for the possibility of people in the world. So I am just so looking forward to being able to come and connect to the joy and the energy that is the people that are in Bangladesh. What I'm hoping to bring also as when I come is that one of the challenges people have in the space of ESG and this is like, okay, we're running a business. How do we link these two components strongly together so that they align, and that when we need to be making trade-offs between different elements of things, we can be holistic about it rather than over-index on one area. So the sessions I'll be working with in each of the group is going to be like, how do you create the link between sustainability is the big picture, ESG is where we're focusing on in business and what's creating, value and the lead indicators of value, and adding into your people and community, the S, adding into a sustainable environment, because you've seen enough floods. You don't need to hear more about that. The memo has arrived, been well read, but how we create the adaptation so that we can survive that or reduce that risk so that it's less pressure on everybody, to what extent that's possible. And finally, how from a business point of view and those that are responsible for assets and the fiduciary responsible there, how are we valuing these choices so that we can make the choices that allow for also the economic and financial, not just sustainability, but prosperity. And that prosperity translating across these other four areas. So it's going to be very value focused. It's going to be as much talking from the heart as I started off when you asked this question. It will be, the PwC and banker brain in there going, now, how does it pull together, and how do you make this durable? So that, for example, if you're going and speaking to a customer in Europe, you can speak their language and you can have a better margin. Or if you're in looking at for finance so that you can expand your business and part of that pool is international money, you can speak to that and you can go and access greater funds to be able to develop your business. So it's as much, the nitty gritties of, how do you leverage the finances as it is, how do you inspire your people and your community so that you can be more prosperous and sustainable, not just coming out of the program, but then in 5 years' time, when we get together and we go, well, where has it gone? We're really able to say, really solidly, because in 2030, it's 2030, right?
Right.
We go in 2030 to put it, the climate language. In 2030, we
don't have a lot of time. Yeah.
Standing there and going, you know what? As a group, we've moved dials.
Yeah.
We've moved dials that have made our world better. Boy, oh boy, that's amazing.
Right. So thank you so much, Joann, for joining us all the way from across the world to here in Dhaka and bringing your global perspective to the ESG Bootcamp. We're very excited to have you here with us on July 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Looking forward to it. And to meet everybody who is here listening and is joining us at the bootcamp.
All right. Thank you so much. I hope, we'll see you and we'll see all our listeners with us to the bootcamp, at the bootcamp in some capacity. So as Bangladesh deepens its role in the global sustainability and ESG movement, voices from around the world, from experts such as Joann, help us imagine what's possible and how we can get there with proper clarity, proper strategy, and proper heart. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay with us for a lot more bold ideas and practical insights from the ESG dialogue, where the future of responsible business begins.